Hello there people, my name is Amanamaz and I have just seen Fantastic Four First Steps. And finally, and fittingly, after 4 attempts, there is a good Fantastic Four movie, and Galactus isn't a fucking cloud, so we're already off to a good start. I wouldn't say I was blown away by the film, like I still preferred Superman and the Thunderbolts, but I still enjoyed it and had a good time watching it. The cast really carried the movie, their chemistry with one another was great, and they really gave off that family vibe that Dominic Toretto would be proud of. Pedro Pascal I thought was great as Reed Richards. I was a bit meh on his casting at first, but he really won me over. The guy is in so much recently, like can't he fuck off for a bit? In a nice way, like have a gap between projects. I did find Reed having a mustache a bit weird. He just looks like Pedro Pascal playing himself, if you know what I mean. I say that, but he said he grew out shitty facial hair, but he looks awful clean shaven, so he kept it. And you know what? Being in that exact same boat, I feel you, Pedro. I feel you. But going back on track, I thought he did a really good job. He was really smart, for the most part, I'll get back to that. But to the point where he is so smart, but socially or emotionally awkward. And I thought that was an important aspect that Pedro nailed. Vanessa Kirby was again great as Sue Storm. I haven't read much, if at all, Fantastic Four comics, but I think they expanded Sue's power set here. But correct me if I'm wrong. She was the emotional center of the film. I think that being a mother and not giving up her child was a major part of that. She portrayed motherhood really well, I think. She was also basically the head of the UN and somehow got all the countries in the world to demilitarize. That got a chuckle out of me, but maybe that's the cynic in me because that would never happen in real life. Though I do think the best character in the film belongs to the other Storm sibling. Johnny Storm was my favourite character here. Normally he is portrayed as the comic relief, and yes, while he is funny and light-hearted, they actually show he is intelligent and competent in his own right. Like, he isn't an astronaut just because he's Sue's brother. He also plays off the Silver Surfer really well, and the almost one-sided banter is entertaining. Like, he is down bad for this metal alien baddie, and wants to get her on his side. But I do hope to see them interact again in the future. Ben Grimm, or The Thing, was good. Probably the weakest of the characters. Like, he didn't really have much of an arc besides seeing a woman he likes a few times. But his chemistry and banter with the rest of the family is still great, especially with Johnny. There are times where the CGI is very shaky, like a video game cutscene bad, but for the most part, it was pretty good. I did like his design. It was so much better than the 2015 one, but the quicker we forget about that movie, the better. The Silver Surfer was pretty good too. There was something sympathetic about her, like when she came to Earth. It was almost like she was sorry that Galactus was coming to eat their world. But in the end, it must somewhat be vindicating after the initial air quotes outrage about using a female Silver Surfer, even though there was a female Silver Surfer in the comics. Like, she was a good character, and you could tell that some grifters were eager to scream that she was woke and DEI and all that shit. But I'm glad that none of that came and that the quality of the writing struck through. Though I do wish we saw more of her interact with Galactus. Like, there's 1 or 2 scenes at best, and I think it would have been more interesting if there was just more. And speaking of which, Galactus is fucking back, boys. He's not some stupid ass cloud this time, but full on comic accurate, even with the addition of a Yorkshire accent. But again, I did want to see more of him outside of his chase for Franklin Reed. So the basic premise of the plot is that Galactus wants to eat Earth, or get Franklin to feed him and spare the planet, and the Fantastic Four have to deal with that. Now, when watching it, it is very fun and the right amount of cheesy, and I love the aesthetic of the film. I did appreciate how different it was, and I really think Marvel should go for each unique aesthetic for each of their films going forward. Now, what I didn't particularly like is that Reed's plan was so stupid. For someone who is the smartest man on the planet, did his son absorb some of his brain cells or something? His backup plan made much more sense, and I thought, why didn't they start off with that? Also, the film felt either too packed or too short. Like, a lot of the scenes I just wanted to see more of. When they were on Galactus' ship, that felt a bit quick. Johnny learning Silver Surfer's language went by too quickly. The people turning on the family after they wouldn't trade Franklin to save the world. There were a few scenes or offhanded comments Like, I would have enjoyed it more if they had more scenes where it really built up the tension and that they had to de-escalate the situation. And when they did, don't get me wrong, it was a nice speech from Sue, but that speech managed to convince everyone right away. If I was there, I would have yeeted that baby right into Galactus's fat gob if it meant saving the world, but that's just me. But yeah, I think the film could have done with an extra 15 or 20 minutes. It was still good though, and I do recommend that you check it out because I do think you would enjoy it. And you deserve to finally see a good Fantastic Four movie, but maybe take your time with it. Now, if I had to give it a rating, it would be a 7 out of 10. Not the best superhero movie of the year, but a very solid one. And with back-to-back films with positive reviews for Marvel, I hope it's the start of a consistent run of form for them. Because I think it's Avengers Doomsday next, and that definitely can't be a miss for them. And I'm sick of the MCU is dead and the MCU is back memes. But anyway, if you like my review, please leave a like and subscribe, that would greatly be appreciated. And I shall see you next time, and peace.